Can Allah come onto this world if He wants? Can He be in this world if He wants?
I wouldn't think so.
You wouldn't think so. So Allah's omnipotence is limited. He can't come onto this world.
It's like basically Allah Ta'ala cannot do logically fallacious thing. Like He cannot create a square circle, right? Because that's something logically fallacious.
But how do we know that's what this
is? That
but how do we know that's what this is? Because, for example, in Surah Al-Imran, when Allah is talking to Moses, it says in Surah Al-Imran, I think it's Surah Al-Imran, it might be Surah 18, but double check, that Allah, as He spoke to Moses, Allah was in the bush. Allah was in the bush. So if you want to say that meant something else, well, you're going to have to argue with the Quran on that one. It seems to be pretty clear that Allah can emanate His voice from a physical place. He can be in a physical place in a sense. In the same way, I don't believe that God coming to this earth limits His omnipotence. It's not a limitation of His omnipotence. Jesus has taken on flesh. God the Father is still everywhere. God, Jesus, the Son, is here on this earth. It's a limitation in that sense, but it's not a limitation of His nature. He is both the divine and human nature. That's the argument. Now, I want to talk about briefly, and then we're...
I mean, I really don't know what to say there. That's really sad. Not only have you not explained his point, but you tried to kind of push his point away by using a Quranic story and evidence as an example. And not only did you get the story wrong, but you even messed up the reference. It's not in Surah Ali Imran, but I give you that because you said it could have been in Surah Al-Kahf, which is number 18. But it's not in 18 either. And this is common. I mean, Surah Al-Kahf is a surah that Muslims read regularly, like every week. Surah Ali Imran is known to us. It's in Surah Al-Taha, verse number 11. Chapter 20, verse 11. And the fact that you made this mistake and the mistake of the narrative, which is a story that we're taught as little kids, everyone knows this story, the fact that you got it wrong is a sign and indication to show us that you really don't know Islam. How could you have been a Muslim when you don't even know the religion? It's because you weren't ever a Muslim. So please stop misleading the people. It's not nice, okay? And deception is something that's not even praiseworthy in Christianity. And it's punishable by God. Even the way you guys see it. So now what is it? Bit of background information. I mean, I'll educate you. It's my religion at the end of the day. Moses, he leaves where he's staying in Midian to go towards Egypt. And as he's going in the darkness, he's traveling with his family, he sees a fire that's burning. So he decides to go towards the fire to get a torch so he can use it as a light of guidance. When he gets there, Allah tells us in the 11th verse, فَلَمَّا أَتَاهَا نُودِيَ يَا مُوسَى. When he came to it, the fire, he was called. He wasn't called by the fire itself. He wasn't called by the fire. But the calling came from the direction of the fire. And this is how Muslims have understood it. And if you want, you can go check the exegesis of the Quran. For example, Imam al-Qurtubi in his great exegesis of the Quran, and he explains this verse, the Mufassir as we call it in Arabic, you can go and he explains the verse just like this. And this is how the Islamic narrative has always been. There's no mention of no bush, there's no mention of the sound coming from the bush.
Now all of us, we heard this guy saying that there's no mention of the bush, and there's no voice is coming from the bush, and there's no fire where the voice is coming from. So let us get him busted and show you. And he mentioned the book of Al-Qurtubi, and he said this is how the Muslims, and he named the scholar who he said he explained the way he is talking about. So we will show you what Al-Qurtubi he said, and we will get him busted.
There's no mention of no bush, there's no mention of the sound coming from the bush. When he came to it, the fire, he was called. He wasn't called by the fire itself. He wasn't called by the fire, but the calling came from the direction of the fire. And this is how Muslims have understood it. And if you want, you can go check the exegesis of the Quran. For example, Imam al-Qurtubi in his great exegesis of the Quran, and he explains this verse, the Mufassir as we call it in Arabic, you can go and he explains the verse just like this. And this is how the Islamic narrative has always been. There's no mention of no bush, there's no mention of the sound coming from the bush.
We heard him saying it clearly that if we go to the book of Al-Qurtubi and look for the interpretation of chapter 20 verse number 11, as we see in front of us on the screen, we will find in the book of Al-Qurtubi that there's no mentioning of a tree or a voice coming from the tree or a voice coming from the fire. Now let us see if this guy, he is a professional sheikh or a professional idiot. So we will go in front of you and I will show you in the screen what Al-Qurtubi he said. And remember, this is the book of his choice. He is the one who said in the Imam of Al-Qurtubi. So let us see what Al-Qurtubi he said. This is the official government website of the Kingdom of Jordan. If you go down all the way, you will find it says there clearly that this is run by the government of, actually it's owned by the King of Jordan, who is a Muslim Sunni and who he claimed that he is from the family of Muhammad. That's explained why he is a corrupt man. Now let us see what it says in the book of Al-Qurtubi. تفسير الجامع لأحكام القرآن الإمام القرطبي, chapter number 20 verse number 11. Just to be sure we are quoting the exact same place. Let us see what it says. The story here saying that Musa, he was going and it was a snowy night, that it was a Friday night, and imagine the Muslim, they knew even what day it is. Muhammad, he never been there, the Quran never mentioned, but they know it's Friday and it is winter and it was snowing. Where did they get this from? Nobody knows. Okay, continue, who care, you know. The thief explained the stories. So when he was walking, he saw a fire from far away. قال ابن عباس. Remember, this is Al-Qurtubi and this is the cousin of Muhammad is speaking. I'm not going to really translate just in Arabic. I'm going to copy in front of your eyes and paste in Google Translation. We know that Google Translation is not really accurate, but it's going to do the job. Remember this guy, he said, there's no sound is coming from the tree, and there is no sound is coming from the fire, and there's no tree even is mentioned. And he asked us to go and check the book of Al-Qurtubi. Let's see. قال ابن عباس. Ibn Abbas, he said, so when he went to the tree, he found it in a grape tree, في شجرة عناب. فوقف متعجبا. So he was amused from the the fine or the beauty of this light and how green of this tree is. So, and not the heat of the fire is changing the green of the tree, so that the tree, even though it's burning, but it's not like eaten by the fire, as if nothing happening there, and it's not losing its water. ولا كثرة ماء الشجرة. And the blessing of the greenery, you know, is changing the amazing light of the fire. So this guy, he said, there is no tree, and the voice did not come from the tree, and it was the direction of the fire. Let us see if what he says is true. We will copy, paste in front of your eyes. This is Google Translation. Copy, paste. Ibn Abbas said, when he went toward the fire, in the tree, he found the fire where? In the tree, as you see. Now here the translation is not coming correctly. He stood amused by the good light and the intensity of the greenery of that tree. The intensity of the tree of the fire did not change the good greeneries of the tree. I'm trying just to fix that, you know. And then look what it says. And all of this is coming from where? All the conversation about what? Is about the tree. And the tree which is the fire is in. This guy, he said there's no tree ever mentioned. and no voice coming from the fire, and we will show you that soon. Just hold on. We'll show you more reference. And all of this is a lie for him. Where do you get the tree from? There's no tree, according to this Abdul. This is the verse he chose, and this is the interpretation of his choice. So, how shameful are you to make a video to correct someone who supposedly is a fake Muslim because he do not know Islam, but yet you are the one who do not know Islam. Now let us get you more busted. In chapter 27 verse number 8, or let us go first to chapter 28 verse number 30. Hold on. Chapter 28 verse number 30, it says, so when he came to it, came to what? To the fire. You can read any Muslim translation, which I don't approve anyway, but let us see. So he saw the fire, as you see. He came to the fire. So when he came to the fire, to where? To the fire. All right, what happened? A voice was heard from the right bank of the valley. All right, let me fix this. The voice came from where? From the right bank of the valley. But where is that voice? From the tree. From a tree. But where is the fire? The fire is in the tree. And we showed you in the book of Al-Qurtubi just a second ago. The fire is in the tree, and where the voice coming from is from the tree. This guy, he said there's no bushes exist, there's no trees exist. It's a lie. And there's no voices coming from the tree, and there's no voice coming from the fire. It was from the direction of the fire. But the Quran confirmed that it's coming from the tree. Just to make it more clear, if we go and see the interpretation of Al-Qurtubi, the one he like, because he like Al-Qurtubi, so I cannot resist the temptation of going to Al-Qurtubi. Chapter 27 verse number 8 says, so when he came to the fire, a voice was heard. From where? From the fire. Where is the fire? Is in the tree. Blessed are those who they are in the fire, and those who they are around. Hold on. Who is the one is in the fire? Who is blessed? And who is the ones who they are around the fire? The Muslims, they have a lot of interpretation, and not even one of them can come with the correct answer. Because if the Muslim, they refused that Allah was in the fire, then who was in the fire? They start saying maybe the angels, maybe Jibreel, but the whole chapter never mentioned the angels. Where is the angels in the story? There's no angels. It's Allah speaking to Moses. And look with me here. It says, bless those who they are in the fire. Those. And those who they are around the fire. Obviously Muhammad is making Quran, making a poetry, making a Arabic music. So in order to make it work with the sound, he chose the word those, but it doesn't fit, because the one who is around the fire is Moses, and the one who is in the fire is Allah. Otherwise, who is in the fire? So if the Muslim, they want to say the one is in the fire is the angels, need to explain to us why. Allah speaking from the fire, from the tree, as we showed you, from the tree. What the angels are doing inside the fire? I mean, how big this location is. The Muslim, they say to us, Jibreel is have 600 wings. Let us continue and get them more busted. So there was a fire in the tree, and the voice was heard from the tree, and Allah is in the tree. Blessed those who they are in the tree, and the one who is around the tree. And supposedly the one is around the tree is Moses, but Allah is saying around those. We do not know who are they those. Let us see more. Let us get this Abdul more busted. Now, after we mention this, then we go to the interpretation of this chapter in Al-Qurtubi. In Al-Qurtubi he says, أي بورك على من في النار وهو موسى. Qurtubi says that the one who is inside the fire is Moses. Moses is inside the fire? You know, the Muslims, they have a madness and they are sick with stupidity. How Moses, he went to the fire, he did not even touch it yet. How he is inside the fire? And then it says, وهذا, then he says, وتأويل هذا أن موسى عليه السلام رأى نورا عظيما فظنه نارا وهذا لأن الله تعالى ظهر لموسى بآياته وكلمه من النار. Translation: I will take, copy, paste in Google. Moses, he saw a great light, so he thought it's a fire. So when he went there, Allah appeared to Moses by his sign, and he spoke to him from the fire. Do you see it, Abdul? وَكَلَّمَهُ مِنَ النَّارِ, where he spoke to him مِنَ النَّارِ, from the fire. This Abdul, he said, it doesn't say, it's the direction of the fire. Before you talk, go and read Al-Qurtubi. Al-Qurtubi did not say that. You know, our Imam Al-Qurtubi, my favorite one, he spoke to him with his words of the fire. The translation is not too much accurate, but it says here clearly, وَكَلَّمَهُ مِنَ النَّارِ. I hope we gave the Abdul a good lesson about not to open their mouth, and I challenge anyone who have the courage and the knowledge to come and debate me. If you like to learn more, feel free to read my books and watch my videos. You can search for my books in Amazon by looking for Christian Prince in the search engine. God bless. Thank you very much.
Like this, and this is how the Islamic narrative has always been. There's no mention of no bush, there's no mention of the sound coming from the bush.